Good morning. We're now looking at the Feral Druid spec in BFA. Very excited about Druid in general. Druid was one of my first ever characters when I first started playing WoW. Absolutely love Druids. Feral especially has a sweet spot for me, so I'm quite excited about these changes. So we're going to crack on and get into it. There are only a few minor changes, to be fair. I'll say this in all my videos. In BFA, they haven't done many major changes to classes. It's just quality of life changes, just fine-tuning, really, which is good because it means they're happy with the class balance in general, and they just think there's a few things that need tweaks. We'll crack on with the talents and see what's new and what's not. So, first tier talent, Blood Scent, exactly the same as live. Does exactly what it does in live at the moment. It does it the same in BFA. Predator is exactly the same as live as well, and so is Lunar Inspiration. These are all same as live currently, so you'll all be recognising these talents. Tiger Dash is new. It replaced Displacer Beast. Displacer Beast is a better talent, in my opinion. Tiger Dash, all it does, doesn't teleport you, it just activates cat form and increases movement speed by 200%, reducing gradually over 4 seconds. It's too long a cooldown, to be honest, but it does replace Dash. Now Dash is on a 2-minute cooldown, so personally I'd rather keep Dash and have Wild Charge to be able to leap to people every 15 seconds. But some of you will like the increased movement anyway. Not that movement's an issue as a Druid because you've got travel form. So again, it's entirely up to you. It's preference. It's an additional talent now. So, and I'll just show you what it looks like. Let's just jump down here a second. There we go. So massive movement speed, haven't teleported me anywhere, and then it decays over 4 seconds and it's done. So that's what Tiger Dash is. Next tier is exactly the same as live. Balance is the same, Guardian's the same, and Restoration with Serious Gift is the same. However, I do believe that's gone from 5 yards to 3 yards now, so I could be wrong, but the tooltips might be a little bit bugged in some cases. Which I'll get to in a second when it comes to Rake. Mighty Bash, Mass Entanglement, Typhoon, exactly the same as live again. The only thing is Mass Entanglement now, for me, I think it's changed in the sense that it gives you an idea of how far it spreads. So you've got a 15 yards now, whereas before it just says root the target and all enemies nearby. So actually now you know it's 15 yards around your original target. Soul of the Forest on the next tier, exactly the same. Nothing's changed with Jagged Wounds, although I think Thrash has been added to that now. So Thrash's damage deals the damage 20% faster. I could be wrong, but I'm sure Thrash has been added to that. So, an Incarnation King of the Jungle performs exactly the same as it does on live currently as well. The other thing I was going to say about Dash is it lasts 10 seconds, whereas Tiger Dash only lasts 4. So again, it's just weighing it up really. So yeah, Incarnation it performs exactly the same. Your level 90 tier with Sabertooth always refreshes the duration of Rip, because currently at the moment Ferocious Bite will always refresh Rip if they're below 25% health, which is an awesome adding to the ability really. If you're a PvEer, when you're on a boss fight and it's the last 25%, you never have to Rip again, which is nice. But Sabertooth just increases Ferocious Bite's damage by 20%, and it always refreshes the duration of Rip no matter what. I quite like that talent. I like it in a PvP sense. I like if you're working a healer or training them down, you don't have to apply Rip, you can just keep Ferocious Biting them, although now the PvP talents aren't there. And one of the main PvP talents was if you Ferocious Bite them, it reduces their max health, which was quite nice. But moving on swiftly. So the next one in this tier is Brutal Slash, which we all know. Same as live, replaces your swipe ability, gives you Brutal Slash, does quite a lot of damage on live, currently does slightly more than a shred now, so it might not be worth taking, it might be worth taking, I don't know. Savage Roar is still there, it's now finishing up at 15% increased damage. A lot of people used to play Savage Roar when it first came out in Wrath because it was just so overpowered. Again, it's just fine-tuning, numbers tuning. They like the idea of Savage Roar, they like the gameplay around it, so it's still in there. Never been a massive fan of it myself, but might be worth taking. Who knows? We'll see how the numbers kind of crunch out. But from a gameplay point of view, it's just one more thing you got to keep on top of, haven't you? Got to maintain and rotate. And then finally, on our final tier, we've got Moment of Clarity, which is pretty similar to live right now. And my little girl obviously is crying. She doesn't like Moment of Clarity. Triggers 100% more often, stacks up to 2 times, and increases the damage of your next Shred, Thrash, or Brutal Slash by 15%. And also your max energy is increased by 30. So I think that's a strong talent. I think it's always been a strong talent. However, there is a better talent in this tier. You've got Blood Talent, which is doing exactly what it does on live at the moment. So if you Regrowth or Entangling Roots, actually I think that's different now. I think Entangling Roots is an addition to the tooltip. It used to be that you had to do a heal, and then your next 2 melee abilities get increased damage for their full duration. Now Entangling Roots has been added to it as well, so that's quite nice. Again, from a PvP point of view, that is nice because it means that you can root people and still get your Blood Talents. Anyway, finally we've got Feral Frenzy. Now a lot of you will recognise this, but under a different name. Currently in Legion, it's the Ashamane's weapon ability. So now they've given it to Feral on the 100 tier talent. So it performs exactly the same. It's a 45-second cooldown, costs a bit of energy, but it does ridiculous damage, and it also awards 5 combo points, where I believe on live currently it only rewards 3. So you've got here Feral Frenzy doing hits 5 times for 440 physical damage, and then it does a sick bleed, basically. Really sick bleed. Again, numbers can change. There'll be a fine-tuning process, but for now we've still got our Ashamane's ability. It's currently doing 3,000 bleed damage over 6 seconds, where if you look at a 5 combo point rip, that does 2,880 over 24. So doing that over 6 seconds is quite strong. In terms of how it looks, I believe it looks the same. I will just show you now. So there we go. So we've got our Ashamane's Frenzy, we'll call it, but it's now Feral Frenzy. And if we do it, yeah, it looks pretty much the same. So, but yeah, I mean, Feral, it's always been in a good place since Wrath. It got quite too strong at some point. Yeah, I mean, if you enjoy Feral now, you're gonna enjoy it on BFA. So yeah, Brutal Slash is still doing some pretty good damage. So so that's the Feral Druid video for myself, guys. Just a brief overview of the talents. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more changes incoming when it comes to our Azeroth progression. I love Feral. I think it's mid. If you love Feral at the moment in Legion, you're going to enjoy it in BFA. Again, they're not doing anything groundbreaking. It's just fine-tuning. Quality of life changes. The Balanced Druid had quite a nice few changes as well. So be sure to check out that video if you're interested in balance. But yeah, Feral's basically in a good place. I think it's going to be quite strong. There's lots of different choices still with terms in different builds. I mean, you can go Lunar Inspiration for an extra dot, Savage Roar for an extra buff to maintain. And you know, you can make it as complicated as you like, or you can make it as simple as you like. That's the whole idea of the talent system, I think. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, guys, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you again for the Restoration Druid spec, which I'll do next.